Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared sharp betting information.
All right, welcome back to Podcast 60-18. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neill. You can tweet me at The Public Dog, and you can tweet us at The Odds Breakers. This episode is being brought to you by mybookie.ag. Please visit MyBookie and use the promo code TheOddsBreakers for a one-time 50% sign-up bonus. Should you be looking to help us out with our costs, we would love to help you out. Please visit theoddsbreakers.com and become a member at $12.99 a month or a patron subscriber and get our picks before the line moves, as well as our premium picks. If nothing else, please sign up for our free picks newsletter. What a great week of college football as well as NFL. The season is over, my friends, and it's championship week coming up. And I love championship week. Who doesn't? We ended up doing extremely well on our season win totals. Everything kind of that we discussed last week came to fruition. Baylor won as a dog, went over their 5.5 season win total. Texas won to Kansas, going over there. I believe we had it at 7.5 or 8. We hit that one. Cal won before the Stanford game coming up, so we hit that one. And the rest of them we discussed, we hit. The only one we lost out of 13 was South Carolina. That was the only season win total in college football we lost. We were 12-1 in season win totals, which was awesome because I didn't expect anything that good. And that was a nice little bonus to get that money back because the books have been sitting on it for, 3 months now? Since, probably longer. Some of these bets were placed in June, July, some in August. Yeah, they've been sitting on this money for a while. So always nice to get that back with the change that you've made. You know, some of them were hit way early. Like Buffalo hit way early. The Nebraska under 6.5 hit way early. You know, there's just... as a Big Ten specialist, I'm glad I didn't dive on, the Michigan 10, the Michigan State 9.5, the Wisconsin 10, the Ohio State 10.5 or whatever. Even though Ohio State hit theirs, I mean, I'm just glad I didn't get involved in that. Those were very high, and definitely not takeable. Apparently. Alabama and Clemson was another easy one, wasn't it, for them hitting their 12 game, I believe it was 11 or whatever, but they hit their season win total with ease. Hell, Alabama, I don't even think they lost by less than 10 or had any victory by less than 10 points is what I'm trying to say. What a team is that? What a team, Alabama. But as you all know, we have our Buffalo bet 12-1, and it was a larger bet. It was a little bit more than beer money, let's say. It was our largest one of the futures, which is great because that and a couple other smaller ones are coming to fruition. The way we're going to hedge this 12-1 is we're going to make at least 2/3 of it if Buffalo wins, and we're going to lay 1/3 of it on Northern Illinois. The great news is that Northern Illinois is favored, so we're going to put like a chunk of it on the money line and a little bit larger chunk on the spread. So it's about 4 points. It's looking like, and at least if Buffalo wins by only 3 points, then we get the spread bet, and which covers the money line bet, which would be just amazing. But we wanted to hedge. to make sure we could cover all those other beer money sprinkles that we have. I mean, we had a lot of them, right? Florida and, Texas going to the championship. We had a lot of small bets, but since we had a large one at Buffalo, about 4 or 5 times bigger than the rest of them before the year started, it made it so we're going to come out with a nice profit this year, especially if they win. The other ones we had was Memphis, and they're in their championship game. We only had 2.5 to 1 at plus 250. The way since Mackenzie Milton broke his leg, which is awful for that team, it looks like Memphis has a really good shot at winning this thing. So I'm just going to hedge this thing, and it's good because now I guess I don't have to lay as much juice. It's only going to be like minus 125, 130 or whatever on the Memphis side, but we'll lay like minus 150, and or we'll lay a little bit more than that, like it would be minus 150, so we would profit even if Memphis loses. And Memphis still might lose this game. I mean, Central Florida, they have a good quarterback in Daryl Mack, and he's very serviceable, and he's capable of winning this Memphis game. So this ain't exactly that anything sure thing Memphis is going to win. I mean, Central Florida is still favored here, so that's another one. And we also have Fresno State 6-1 to win the Mountain West, and apparently that worked out pretty well for us. So we're pretty happy about that. Anybody with a UAB ticket out there has got to be pretty happy because they had some high odds, and they're playing Middle Tennessee State here, and you're going to probably see a lot of hedging going on with the Middle Tennessee State side. UAB was a good sharp side last year, and obviously this year they're a hell of a sharp bet, and they did really well. But like I said, for the Buffalo 12-1, we're going to at least win 2/3 of that and lay about 1/3 of that winnings to cover all of our other bets and make sure we turn a nice profit. All right, well, let's start with the elephant in the room here. It was just, I cannot believe Michigan looked like that. It was sad. Where the hell was this play when they played Wisconsin? Michigan couldn't even get to Haskins at all. I think that was part of the reason. I mean, it was that cross route that just killed them. It just freaking killed them. It was some of their speeds guys, Paris Campbell. I mean, the dude is just extremely fast, and they couldn't catch up to some of those guys. Weber's fast. He had 7.4 yards per carry. But the real story here was Dwayne Haskins just throwing some gems. And they had the home field advantage there, and maybe a little bit lean on the calls, but they beat Michigan handily. I mean, Michigan could get back in the game. They couldn't run the ball against some. It was strange because you've seen a lot of other teams run the ball well, and I think it was just because the offense just looked old. I mean, it looked like a 1980s offense with a one-read option. Yeah, that's all they have is like one read option with Shea Patterson, and everything else was kind of nothing too cute or too tricky there. They had no misdirection going on for Michigan. This team did not show up at all, and their defense didn't show up, which was surprising. I thought you get to Haskins, rattle him, kid him, and then you're gonna take advantage. But no, Haskins looked poised out there. He had time and just throwing darts. Campbell had 192 yards receiving. KJ Hill had 51. This game wasn't close at all. 170 yards on the ground. Ohio State gave up some points. I mean, they gave up 39, but most of those points came late. Michigan has scored 3 points in the first quarter. They scored 16 in the second quarter, and you can tell when they were down, 24-19 that the better team was Ohio State at that point. They scored 0 in the third quarter, and they scored 20 in the fourth, kind of garbage time stuff. It was done. This game was over in the third quarter. So congratulations to Ohio State, keeping it same like they always do, beating up Harbaugh, making him look bad. But at the same time, Michigan had a great season. They had a great season. They just can't get over the hump. Will they be able to next year? It just doesn't feel like they're going to be able to do it at Ohio State. It feels like the only shot they ever have would be doing it at home. So for Harbaugh, for his sake, you would hope that he gets some of those skill guys returning. But I believe Shea Patterson may be gone, ineligible after this year, so he'll have to switch quarterbacks for sure. Alabama, versus Auburn, it was actually kind of close in the beginning, and then Alabama eventually pulled away from them and won handily. I think that Alabama is still by far the best team, and it's they're probably 7-8 points at least better than Clemson on a neutral field, and probably 10 to 13, 10, 12 better than like a Georgia. Yeah, I would say 10, and then Ohio State maybe 10 to 12, and then I guess Oklahoma I would say at least 14. Oklahoma's defense does not look good at all. But, your Heisman race is between two people, Tagovailoa and Kyler Murray from Oklahoma, because just, that crazy offense. Now, have they played many defenses that could run the ball? Not really. You saw Oklahoma play Army, right? Someone who could run the ball, and they almost lost the game, low scoring, but that's how that went. Notre Dame, they took care of business at USC. Pissed me off giving up that garbage touchdown because I had Notre Dame minus 12, and they're up 14, and they gave up a last-minute touchdown, USC, and kind of screwed my bet over. I had a few bad beats this week. We were only 8-12. Did well in the NFL. Hit a couple moneyline parlays, or not parlays, moneyline sprinkles. We hit larger bets and everything. So the NFL went well. But we're talking college now. Clemson took care of South Carolina 56-35. Some crazy scoring going on. But this game was a lot closer at halftime. Clemson was only up by 7, but the third quarter they turned it on. And that's what good teams do. They feel like they're in a little bit of trouble. They turn it on. They go to the next level. That's just the way it is. What we got here? Georgia took care of Georgia Tech, handled them. They're up. Georgia Tech can only score 7 points until the fourth quarter in garbage time. Georgia allowed them to score 14, let's just say. How about this Texas A&M LSU game? Man. 74-72. It had a ton of overtimes in it because there was like, let's see here, 31-31, and then they ended up 74-72. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, I cannot believe how many points were scored in overtime here. It's absolutely insane. Over 40 points per team in overtime. 84 points. I was kind of watching this game, and in the background, I was like, this is not going to end, man. Flipping back and forth. But that was kind of crazy. Washington State versus Washington. Now, too bad for Washington State because that snowstorm, that sleety rain that turned into snow, that's the worst thing that could have happened to a passing offense. It gave them a huge disadvantage, and Washington took over. We were on the Washington State side, but when we made this play, it was way before the forecast or that anyone that we saw. So should have bought back, but at the same time, I had a belief that Mike Leach could somehow pull something out of his ass, but that did not work. You have what are we missing here? Oh, UConn. Congratulations to UConn for being the worst